What is up, my home tamers? How you doing, guys? It's your lovable Michael of the King's Court, and of course, welcome back. So, this is not the final Machinedramon deck profile, but let's call it the final deck profile of EX4 itself. As we get ready for BT13, which at recording our pre-release is actually Saturday and Monday coming up. So, yeah, we're gonna have some fun. As of course anyone knows, if you remember, one of our earlier deck profiles is an Alphamon deck profile, so that will be getting updated. I don't know if I'll update Machinedramon at all in EX BT13 because I don't know what as can be added. But I ran Machinedramon for a couple weeks now in tournament, and I got second or third the second to last, and then as of yesterday, which was our tournament, I got first place. So we of course ran Machinedramon. It is our bread and butter if you've watched me upload enough profiles on this already. But never can go wrong with the homeboy. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check the bell for notifications so you know when we upload daily. And of course, follow our social medias. Link will be down below in the description box. Also, question of the day. What are you excited to play in BT13? Are you interested in building anything new? Are you just updating something old? Are you going to be a Machinedramon player? You're going to be an Alpha player? You're going to be Mirage Gauga? You're going to be Rosemont Burst Mode? Yada, 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 all that good stuff. Let us know down below. Also, do you want to see an updated Alphamon deck profile? Leave that down below. And then leave us any updates to any content you want to see. Alrighty then, so let's go ahead and get into the profile. Like I said, I took first. We had 3 rounds. And I went EXO. Round 1 was Black Orb Greymon against Channel Member Isaac, ironically enough. Won that 2-0. Went against another Black Orb Greymon deck against a new guy at our shop, and he bricked as well. He bricked both games, so we won that one 2-0. And then round 3 was Battlestar against a pretty good friend of ours, and DP was a problem for him. He couldn't really handle stuff. He wasn't getting his raw engine. So yeah, that's what we played. Our round matchups. So I'll go over card by card, then I'll kind of guess I do a little overall how I handle matchups. So sorry, Digitamas, and I am still running 4 of the Doraemon. If you don't know what Doraemon does, it is once per turn during your turn when you place a card underneath, when an effect places a source underneath one of your Digimon that he's in, you can draw 1 card. Chaosdramon X will constantly have this live because it's used. That's the effect. You'll be able to draw cards constantly. It's weird using this out of Alphamon, but you can. If you want to run Hopmon, I'm not trying to gain clout, but I can see where another YouTuber, avid herpetologist, he runs Hopmon, and I can see the value of it. But for my local area, just doing the draws, it was probably the best thing to do. We're a semi-competitive local, so having access to this was really nice. But if I wanted to run a 5th egg, then maybe we also run in the new Dory from BT13. That's when attacking. If you have, I think it's 4 or more sources, draw a card. So pretty good. And honestly, I understand why you play that. All right. Next, for our rookies. Although if you saw the front, you can already guess. Yes, we are playing 4 copies of BT7 Doraemon. Makes me sad these are 70 because I would love to get these alt arts, but I cannot. So if you don't know what he does, on play, look top 3, add a Kota and an X antibody traits to your hand. You don't do that at all in this deck. You don't use it for any of that effect at all because you really don't run anything like that. You don't use it to search it out. You could use it to search itself or search a Chaosdramon X, but you don't do that. All you care about is the inheritable, which is once per turn when you add a source to this Digimon, gain a memory. So combined with Doru and Doraemon, it is a draw 1, gain a memory. So pretty good. I don't need to say anything much. If you've seen enough deck profiles, enough of Machinedramon lists, I have gone over what this does, so why I do it. My tech was I was still very high, or not very high, but I guess very set on running 3 copies of Chikurimon. We don't reduce our play costs at all because we don't have everything. We play everything full cost. We go all in. Excuse me. And this is handy. So I will say this. Where is it? I'll just bring these up as well. We also did play 2 copies of Hagurumon. If you don't want to play this, you can play Jazza to give extra, or Ludomon to give a blocker inheritable. Then you could play 3 and 2. But overall, I like Chikuri just as like the easy option, especially against Bailstar. Set them to 1. They have to Deathclaw and they have to do something else because they really can't deal with Chikurimon on board. Which is why they did it. And of course, Hagurumon, ditch a Machine or Cyborg, draw 2. Pretty standard. So we play 9 rookies. Really don't need more than that. Alright, for our champions. If you saw my last profile, you should know where we're going with this, but we'll do it right now. 3 copies of Numamon. 3 costs to just hard play, and then 1 cost to Digivolve. Your opponent sets you have 4 memory, you can go into this and then go into a ultimate right there. You can kind of cheat out going into your Mega faster. But again, 1 cost Digivolve. And I'll explain that when I go into my next champion, which is going to be 4 copies of Tankmon. So Tankmon is also a 1 cost Digivolve vanilla, but he is a cyborg, which triggers a lot of your other cards you can use. So normally, and I was for a long time, and I still love it. I'm a proponent of Gardramon, who's a blocker and inheritable. Discard a Machine or Cyborg, draw 2. And now don't get me wrong, that's really good, but if you resolve Machinedramon BT11, you actually run the risk of being decked out, and that can really blow. Suck, whatever you want to say. So not being able to do that, and also, if you're going first and you have rookie and this, honestly, it is much better to Digivolve this, because you give one a 1. So they want to set a memory setter, they're going to give you a 3 back. So you can easily go into, say, a Machinedramon, or any of your ultimates that search, and then go into a Machinedramon or a Chaosdramon. You're giving them a lot of memory, but you're setting up a Mega by turn 2 or 3, which is really phenomenal. And trust me, in some of these games, I needed a body presence on board quickly, which is why we play it. For our ultimates, I'm going to go in order of the inheritables we were looking for. So, I was playing one EX1 Andromon, 1 Star Deck 5 Megadramon, and 1 EX4 Metal Greymon. So Andromon, as well as a Metal Tyrannomon and a Metal Mamamon, I play later in the list. All have the same when Digivolving effect. You look top 3, add a level 6 machine in your hand, trash the rest. That's fine. But while you're machine, you have blocker. Megadramon gives blocker. Metal Greymon is a blocker and also gives blocker. We played 3 different blocker inheritables. So the reason I play 3 different blocker inheritables is because of the Hunter matchup. You cannot afford to play Analog Man in Hunters. Superior mode will always then tuck your Chaosdramon or whatever. So you need to therefore just go into Chaosdramon, and you need to they're gonna chip damage you then. So what you need to do is you need to then just give your blocker online pretty quickly. So if they go, okay, I'm gonna go ahead. If they go ahead and just go say, well, swing. If you have this out, you can block with this or one of your megas, and then they can't deal with it. They can Quartz on you, but fine. Next, 1 EX1 Metal Tyrannomon and 1 BT11 Gigadramon. Gigadramon is more aggressive, and when I was playing Gardramon, this was the preferred ultimate that Digivolve on top of. It has jamming. and it gives reboot. Machinedramon searches, and also gives reboot. Against raid matchups, which are not that often, honestly, having reboot is not exactly favorable. So if you're playing against the Gallantmon or the Marsmon bird deck, having raid isn't exactly the greatest because they'll just redirect into you and get all their proc effects off. So just remember your matchups. But you want this because if you don't have an analog man, just make sure your blocker are, and you can be aggressive. Next are our DP increasing. So we play one BT1 Metal Greymon and one BT6 Gigadramon. Sorry, there's a glare, people. I can't really tell if there's a glare or not, but so you're never going to swing with this, but it does get 3k DP, and this card's also red, and it's treated as, and it gives 2k DP during your opponent's turn. This makes Chaosdramon 15 during and 14 on your opponent's turn, 15 on your turn, 14 on your opponent's turn. X is now 16 on your turn, 15 on your opponent's turn. Both are very hard numbers to deal with. And if your opponent gives you 3, or they give you 5, you can just hard play this, because this is actually one of the easier ones to hard play, because its cost is so low. One copy of BT8 Metal Greymon. You can increase this. So the DD12 is nice, and then popping, and then of course this being able to attack active is really, really good. One copy of Volcanomon from the starter deck. I believe this is the Jesmon starter deck. I both love and hate this card. I love it because it gets Security Attack +1, but it's a 4-cost to Digivolve, so sometimes I don't want to use it. If you really want to, you can play the AEX1 Megadramon that gives Security Attack +1, as long as you have a Machinedramon Cyborg, because that just allows you to get the same pressure. You can play more than one Security Attack +1 if you really want to. I ran 2 of these. It's fine. You can increase this, but I think it works fine. One copy of BT11 Machinedramon. Suspending is fine. You never really use that effect that much. And then when you delete something in battle, trash top of your opponent's security. That's both players' turns, so you block, you keep, or you get redirected to, you trash top. And if you're using Chaosdramon X and you crash, so the way it'll work is if you crash, you are deleting in battle, so you do trash 2. It's pretty nerdy, pretty nutty, derpy, all that good stuff. And then one copy of EX1 Metal Greymon. You're not going to really swing with it, but you can. I mean, we also have Guardian is also really good, but since everything has high DP now, this is not good to swing with. And the Piercing. And then Metal Mammoth searches. And then if you have a machine, you pop a play cost 5 or less. Oh my god, this came up in handy so often against Black War Greymon decks and War Greymon decks in general, because you can Digivolve them down to a Greymon and then swing and then pop the Greymon, so they lost their stack. And I'll explain how important it is to getting rid of stacks is in this deck. And finally, our last 2 ultimates are 2 copies of BT9 Machinedramon, which is simple. On Digivolving, delete when your opponent's Digimon play cost 3 or less or Tamer. And the inheritable is the same except if you're a Machinedramon Dragonkin. I wish this hit higher. I swear to god, I wish this hit at least 4. Or at least if it was a Tamer, it deleted 4. Because this thing is good, but just being able to get rid of cards like some 4-cost Tamers be great. But I understand why not. It's too good. If it did that, it would be too good. It would be not a broken card, but it'd be a very good card. So being able to get rid of 3-cost Tamers is fine. I only love 3-cost Tamers. It snipes out Cool Boy. A lot of the Hunter stuff. You definitely want to get this in your attack against Hunters ASAP. And then, yeah. That is it for the Ultimates. Now we're going to go to the Megas, where I'm going to describe. So, the one change from my last list was now we are only playing 2 copies of BT11 Machinedramon. I was at point 1 playing 3, and I'll explain why. So, first off, when Digivolving are on play, it's born and brought the on play, you reveal a top 5 add an analog man to your hand, and then one card with Cyborg or Machinist traits either put in your hand or underneath him. And then when he's deleted, you tuck an analog man and then play a Machinedramon. You can even play this one again. The reason I don't play more than 2 of it is because, one, it's good, but the problem is if it can be outed pretty quickly. And if it gets deleted without an analog man, you don't get an increase in value. But this is so good still. It's such a good card. Plus, if your opponent puts you at 1 memory and you have this and attack the heavy mobile, you can still play this. Swing in if you get a source, and if it gets deleted but you have the EX1 Machinedramon or another Machinedramon, you can play this again. So it's really, really good. That's why I still play 2 of it. It's still important to play. You don't have to play more than 2. I think 2 is fine. Speaking of EX1 Machinedramon, 2 copies of EX1 Machinedramon, which is on play. You place up to 5 red and or black Digimon with Cyborg in their traits and different card numbers underneath them and underneath him, and again for each one. Altern's DP can be reduced. That's important for Shine Greymon, because they can't out it that badly. And then Alterns, when he would be deleted, you trash 2 sources. Really good. This is why you used to play Attack the Heavy-Mobile Digimon at more than anything else. It was probably this, because you would drop this, because it would be... Okay, so we got BT9. You would play 4 of this, and you play 2 to 3 of the Chaos Realm at the time, which was BT8, which was mediocre at best, but it was pretty good. You play this for 5. You play this. You swing in with it, and then your turn. You Digivolve it into Chaos Ramon, replenish sources if you need to, and that will make Attack Heavy the Mobile Digimon so good for this deck. But since we now focus on drawing and Digivolving so much, the deck is different. You don't want to do that too much, so 2 is fine. The big change we made, or not, it's a big change, but it's a necessary evil, and that is we are now playing a full play set of Chaos Ramon, EX3 Chaos Ramon. I know this doesn't match. I want to get another Altar, but I haven't got a chance to pick one up, so bear with the regular artwork. It's ugly. It feels so wrong. Kidding. So if you don't know what he does, or what it does, on player when Digivolving, you place up to 3 red or black Cyborg Digimon in the traits to different card number, hand or trash underneath him. And then for each one, trigger Digivolve 1 on one of your opponent's Digimon. Plays that effect. Now, the wording of this is still strange to some people, because I've seen some people try it. You do not trigger Digivolve 3 or 1 on 3 different Digimon. You basically consider Ultimate Flare on 1 Digimon, but without deleting. I know it's weird because the wording sounds weird, because it says trigger 1 Digivolve 1 on one of your opponent's Digimon for each card placed. It sounds weird. I know. And then alternates if he would be deleted or turn to hand or deck. Trash 2 sources. 2 level 5s. Against Bailstar, this was the MVP. Because really they couldn't delete him. And they tried to bounce him. They couldn't do it. And once you get a certain stack good enough, you're pretty much set to go. And this just helps you out problems. Against Blackwall Greymon, if they don't have the BT11 Metal Greymon to make them immune to Digivolving, if you have this, you're outing that card. Like, right then and there, you're outing it. Because you're going to out it to, say, a Metal Greymon or a Greymon. If you're at 4 till, you're going to be either 15k with this, because if you're going to get Metal Greymon, you're outing that Metal Greymon right then and there. And they got to build up a stack with this still sitting there. And then finally, our last level 6s are 2 copies of Chaos Ramon X Antibody. Forgot to mention, he Digivolves for 1 on top. This can also Digivolve for 1 on top of a Machinedramon. So, if your Machinedramon's used up, play this. So, Chaos Ramon X Digivolves on top of a Machinedramon or Chaos Ramon for a cost of 2, which is really good. Starting your main phase, you can place 1 Digimon card, Machine, or Cyborg traits from your hand for track at the bottom of this card into sources. So, you always get cards, which is why I said Doraemon and Dorumon are make this card constantly getting you a memory advantage. All turns, he gains the effects of all your Machinedramon and Chaosdramon underneath him. So, excuse me. An ideal stack, if you have it available, is you want EX1 Machinedramon, a Chaosdramon, and a Chaosdramon X. So now he can't be bounced, or he will be bounced to Trash 2, be deleted Trash 2, can't have his DP reduced, and you want your opponent to have to deal with it. Yeah, but the biggest thing is that, so this is how it works. If you were to Digivolve this, on top of, if you have on top of EX3 Chaosdramon and you have BT11 Machinedramon underneath, you can trigger both because they're both when Digivolving effects. You just choose which one you want to activate. So yeah, you trigger all those effects. I've done it a few times, but you more do Chaosdramon's effect because you want that effect more often than not. And then once per turn, when he would be deleted, trash top your opponent's security stack. That doesn't save him, but it does trash a top. So again, if you have Machinedramon and he would be deleted, trash 2, pretty good. That's it for Digimon. We play a pretty high Digimon count. Woo! Now we go to Tamers and Options. So, of course, we play 4 copies of Analog Man. This is where an Ultimate Cup list, you would only be able to play 1, but understandably, I would probably either play Izzy or Kazu, or you can even play Rio from the EX2 booster set, because he starts for a Dramon, and since all your level 6 are Dramons, and a lot of your level 5s are Dramon as well, you're going to hit a lot of your cards, so something to think about. So, starting your main phase, trash a Digimon card with Cyborg traits at level 5, draw 1, gain a memory. Since it's a Tamer effect, it can't get blocked. And then opponent's turn, when your opponent attacks your player, suspend this Tamer, direct the attack to one of your level 6s. The machine. Now note, this will trigger raid effects because your attack being switching, so even if they don't raid, they can, so the thing is, you don't never want to direct an attack. In fact, what I've told a few of my friends who play raid decks, swing security more often than not, especially because you want to chip damage in, because eventually, you want that chip damage in early, so then as it gets later in the game where I don't have so much security left, I have to redirect, and then that's going to trigger all your effects off. So you always want to constantly, so that's why if you're playing a raid deck, you want to swing security more often than not, because if I redirect you, then you're going to get your effects off. You have to, so basically play the bait. Good card at 4. Our only Tamer is Analog Man, of course, so. And now our option card. So first off, we play only 2 copies of Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon. Excuse me. So, activate main. You may trash 1 card with Cyborg or Machine in the traits from your hand to have all your level 6 Digimon with Machine in their traits gain Rush. And then on play, if this Digimon has sources, Blitz. So since your Machinedramons, both of them, and your Chaosdramon have on plays that will give them sources, this is why you only play with those 3. You never play with Chaosdramon because it will not actually work. And then in security, you discard a card with Cyborg or Machine in the traits, and you delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose play cost is less than or equal to the source you discarded. Or the card you discarded. Also, would you guys want to have me make a video describing why I had... Because I have people in my locals who constantly say, this card's broken, this card needs to be hit to 0, yada yada yada. If you want to see or hear my reasoning why I don't think it will, I can make a video on that. I almost want to do it anyway, but let me know what you guys think. Just because this card is not as good as people think it is. It really isn't. It's basically hybrid for game, and if you have nothing else in hand, being able to play this to drop your Machinedramon, your Chaosdramon, is fine, but... Okay, so if you're at 2 memory, you're giving them either 10, or you're giving them 5. You're giving them a lot of memory anyway to play at level 6, and if it can get dealt with, then you've negged. I'm sorry, that's just how I see it. And again, if you want, and I don't believe I'm wrong about that. I'll be happy to hear arguments in this comment section. I mean, not arguments, I guess. Your opinion on this. The reason I don't feel this card is as good as some people think it is because the ability to play something like this also means if it gets outed, then what do? Like, if I'm playing against Dorbeckmon and they out the level 6, like they out Machinedramon pretty easily, they're going to outrush you. Black Hole Greymon going to need you off and then out it. What you want to do with this is you want to make sure they have nothing in raising and you wipe their board. That's how you want to use this card. If you can't do that, then don't play it unless you know you're going to have game. I would get it as a hybrid for game kind of card, or I have nothing else, but so this is the best option to at least gain some pressure. 2 black memory boost. When we get the new, I forget the name of the black training card, I would still play this. Everyone knows what memory boost does. You look top 4, add a Digimon of the color, put this on bottom, delayed, gain 2 memory. Now, boost, training is good for, trying to dig. You can even get analog mana off of it, or attack. But this just helps you be able to play a Machinedramon, choke better, because you can, there are so many things I like about this card more than I don't, so I would like to play this at more than, I don't want to play more than 2, so I will play just the 2 of it, and it comes in handy. And now, our last 2 cards are there also options. We had a lot of tech choices. You could play hybrids, like, you could play Mercurymon to give blocker. You could play deletion options like Ultimate Flare, Iron Fisted, DG Dimension, yada yada, Quake, Fire, Father, all that stuff. Or you can even play, like, say, Ragnarlord for that scenario, or Death X, or Quartz. You have all those options. I chose to play more control options, and so what I chose to do was I played 1 copy of Kongu, which is what I played yesterday and this came up, and 1 copy of Breath of the Gods. So if you don't know what Kongu does, until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent can't, Digimon Play Cost 7 of us can't attack players, and cards can be added to security stack by your opponent's effects. You can still do it, but your opponent can't. So, what this really means is, your opponent, if you play against anything like Mastamon, they can't Chaos Degrade you. Or Lunkske Adidas, though, or as my friends call them our shop, Link's Adidas, because they can't remember, because they're really hard pronouncing sometimes for them. His friend's hybrid for game. When I played against Isaac, he had 2 different Greymons, and I just DD'd down his Metal Greymon down to, I think, a Greymon. And I Kongu'd, so he couldn't swing unless he went to Metal Greymon. And he didn't have enough memory to do so that won us the game. And then Breath of the Gods gives Machinedramon the ability to not be bounced in hand or deck. It gains reboot if you don't have the inheritable. And you can't be returned to hand or deck, and you can't have your DP reduced. You just let us on Machinedramon just so he can't be bounced, because that's his weakness. Against, like, say, Baelstar, this comes up a lot. Against anything else, it can come up. And then its security effect, your opponent's Digimon can't attack players for the turn. So if this is like the final card hidden security, one of the final card hidden security, your opponent can't end you for game. So if you have any way to end the game, you're good to go. So yeah, these are the last 2 cards I played. This ended up getting me my first place win, which I used to get store credit. So yeah, this was Machinedramon. This will be the last Machinedramon deck profile I put up of this, I guess, this format. Because I really don't predict to make any big changes to the deck again. I really don't predict to do so. Because as far as I know, and again, I could be wrong, at least from what I said at the checks of the set, there is nothing that affects it directly in BT13. You can play Mirage Mirage. You can play the Mock Galga if you want from EX4, which lets you unsuspend if your opponent has 8 or more cards in hand. But you're only going to put that underneath if you get the Chaosdramon Hex. So, yeah, that's where that goes. And honestly, I don't feel it's worth it. Like I said, you can adjust ratios if you want. That's what I would do. I always adjust ratios in this deck. And it's what I think. So this is the build I currently, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but I currently think this is my build that I've come up with a lot. It's it is what gets us results, and it does really well. Can it still brick? Of course it can still brick. Every deck can still brick. But I've had enough success with this deck to know how good it is, what it can do. And again, I just enjoy running Machinedramon. But we have to play Alpha once we get to BT13. And, so we played Baelstar, Blackwall Greymon, and then Blackwall Greymon. Reverse order, but exactly what we played. Blackwall Greymon is probably your most even matchup. It's back and forth. It really depends on who can get the better cards. And then Baelstar is a grind game. If they don't draw their pieces to go off, then you're basically going to win that game. But if they draw those pieces, oof, it's a tough one. And then Hunters, you have to learn to play without playing Analog Man. And I know that sounds so weird, but that's what the deck has to do. I can explain more about strategies later on in another video if you guys want to see that, so leave down below. So, damn it, car alarm. So, I guess before that car alarm gets too annoying, repeat all the like, comment, subscribe stuff. I guess the question is, do you want to see a video describing about Tall Ball Attack and Heavy Mobile Digimon, why it's not that good, or why Machinedramon cards are really good, but they're not as broken as people think they are? Because there are a lot of people who think this deck is very, very good, and it is. And other people think this deck is so good it needs to get stuff hit. And, that. Or do you want to hear... again, that could be a Machinedramon mechanic if you guys want to see that. So let us know down in the comment section below what you guys want to see. I'm Michael, the Golden State Kings, and you have yourself a fantastic day. Later, guys.